Kyle, as always, great to have you here with us on Raith TV. A little bit of a different interview here because we're noting a bit of a landmark. 200 games against Inverness. That landmark's came and gone. Does it mean anything to you? Is it significant in terms of where you fit into the club's history?
As I say, I'm delighted to play 200 games. I think in a professional team, any player will tell you if you can get a landmark of 200 games, it's something special. Obviously, I know Roscoe was on last week there, so I think I'm behind him by one, so I'm hoping to catch him. As I say, I'm delighted. As I say, I've really enjoyed it here. I think also everybody will realise that how much I enjoy it here. Just goal is just keep going, many appearances as I can. Obviously I spoke to yourself and I think I'm like the 70 odd mark, so as I say, just keep it going and hopefully I can keep pushing up.
74th is the number in the entire club history. You're just kind of overtaking Jason Dare, and we stand in front of the Munich scoreboard. The other person you're level with at the moment is Danny Lennon. You know, went on to do great things. I'm not sure what Jason's up to just now, but significant players to be overtaken. Got a lot more left in the legs. Yeah, of course. As I say, I'm still 28, 29 in a couple of weeks, so still a good few years left in the tank, I think. To say to be up there with the sort of players, obviously playing against Bayern Munich and that home history of the club, it's nice to be up there recognised with them. Let's take you back to the beginning. How did the deal to join Raith Rovers come about? What was the attraction? Well, it was under Ray McKinnon, and I think Ryan McCord, Pongo, he was signed here. I think he was speaking to Ray about it, and actually the first thing I heard for Ray McKinnon was, I've heard you be good in the changing room. Not about my football, but I just like I'd be good in the changing room. So I went and met him in Dundee, and I liked what he got to say, and I say now I'm delighted to decide to come here. It's been a real roller coaster. I was looking back on the kind of stats on you've not had one single boring season, and you've had a bit of a conveyor belt of managers as well. What are the immediate high points that jump out, and what are the immediate low points? We'll maybe pick through some of them. As I say, also won the league last year. I was like, it's a big, especially being captain of the club. As I say, I know a lot of people get to captain a title winning side, and also I got to do that, and also it's an honour to do that for this club. As I say, I've enjoyed all my time here. Also getting to the cup final, obviously I'm not sure if we're going to get to play it, but as I say, it was still an achievement to get there. And as you say, every season's there's been some ups, some downs. As I say, also getting relegated and that, and I think I've said to this day, once that day happened, I was adamant to be here until I managed to get the club back, and also I've done that this year, and I'm also excited to see where the season takes me. Some ups and some downs, that's a bit an understatement. I've got that under Ray with the playoff, with the relegation with Gary and John. Barry took us very, very close in that final day. We then had the playoff at Queen of the South, and then ultimately a title that's overshadowed in some respects by a global pandemic. So yeah. Ups and downs, that's you've been a bit economic with the language there.
I think also since you've said that, I'm not surprised that many things can happen in 5 years at a club, so it just shows you. As I say, going to about the managers and that, as you were talking about, I think obviously Barry was one. I think he knew at a young age I had him at Dundee. He knew what kind of player I was. He'd done a lot for me, also outside of football as well. So I say, and also the manager just now, also John. I think he's obviously my game's upped under him. I think every player will tell you that at this club. I think the performances went up a level. It just shows you how good the managers are. But everybody's got their own points. I've been through a lot of managers here. Everybody's got their own little tick of the boxes, but I think we'll be here all night. Have you had that kind of desire to make things right? I know I spoke with you after the relegation. In fact, I spoke with you as you were leaving the stadium that day, and you just looked broken. Is there a sense that you feel that you owe Raith Rovers something? I think all the boys, especially the boys that are still here. Obviously, there's me, Davo, Ross Matthews, Vonnie. As you say, we're all still here, and as you say, you didn't want to get relegated in any club. It's no obviously something you didn't want in your CV. And I say that the people that turn up every week in week out, obviously it's heartbreaking for them. I don't know why, but I've always said I'll be here. Obviously, if the managers want us to be here, I'll be here until the club got back up. So I've kept going at that, and we've done it now. Took 3 years, but yeah, it's happened. You most certainly are here, and we've made a kind of really dynamic start in the championship this year. What is it that links you to Raith Rovers, apart from that initial duty to bounce back for the relegation? Because you must have had other offers. I think we've spoke about them over the years as well. There's always been offers. Loads of clubs, but obviously like clubs are probably in the championship, clubs in like League One. Obviously, had a chance sometimes to go part time in that. But as I say, I've had in my mind, I was just going to stay here until we got promoted. It was just a thing I wanted to help the club. also I've listened to offers as well, so I'm not sitting here saying I wasn't listening to offers, because obviously every player also listens. But my mind was made up already, and I said that for day one.
The journey's also took you to be the lad that wears the captain's armband. I know that means a huge amount to you. What kind of captain are you?
I think the boys will tell you I didn't mind shouting on that pitch. I didn't think like he's on the pitch, but I get on with them off the pitch. So I like to also be a leader, as I say, but I think this season there's been a lot of leaders. You can see by even Regan Hendry. I'm hearing him talking out there for such a young age. I think Ross Matthews came on leaps and bounds. He's a leader out there. Obviously you got Davo, Jammer, Jamie McDonald, and the goalies. I think you see the presence he brings. So it's not just me out there. There's a lot of characters, a lot of leaders. We've all got their own personal abilities, and as I say, I'm just delighted to be the man that's leading the way in this season.
Fair to say you've got quite a distinctive shout to you. I think fans aren't allowed in, but maybe a couple of streets away in Barnet Crescent. I think they can hear you.
As I say, I like to obviously make my voice known. No, sometimes it's screaming and shouting, probably sometimes it's uncalled for, but I think it's just passion when you're out there. It's just, it takes over. It's even there's no fans, it doesn't matter there's no fans, the passion's still the same out there, and as I say, I'm sure as long as we're doing well, I'm sure they'll not mind the voice.
You won the championship Dundee twice, obviously League One with Raith Rovers this season that's gone past. Tell us about that. The ending was, I think, unsatisfactory for everybody involved, but ultimately the performance of the team all the way through that league campaign, you clearly say it was a merited title. Yeah,
I've said that. As I say, we couldn't have changed anything that happened. Obviously, what's going on in the world, as I say, it's health comes first and foremost, and I think if you look at, I think we were maybe top 21 out of 28 weeks or something, or whatever it was. So I think that says it all. Obviously, we were top of the league when it happened. Say again, we kind of changed what's happened, and as I say, I think it was the right decision at the end. And I think you can see by the performances this year. I think I've always said that as well. We're a championship team. There's no doubt about it. You can see the way we want to play football, the way the manager wants to play football. You look at there's no many SPL teams that will even play as good as us on the ball, and that, the way we try and play football. Sometimes we're going to be open, as you can see, had a couple of clean sheets, but even like Tuesday's game, for example, there's a 3-3, but it's entertaining for fans at least. So as you say, we're not going to change our way. It's the way we want to play. Might be open at times and that, but as I say, I think it's the right way to play football.
We'll pick through some of the highs and lows kind of throughout the interview, but they're more kind of team-based things. One of the things I wanted to pick up for yourself was I was keen to hear a wee bit about your leg break. I mean, the first thing that I think summed you up is that effectively you broke your leg, went off, and then came back on and tried to play through it. What's that process like? And see, when you did come back into the team, fans were a fickle bunch, so we're looking to see is he 100% the player he was? Is he 90, 95%? How do you mentally and physically cope with that?
It's one of the things. I think when it happened, I remember. Obviously, it was sore. Obviously, when it happened, but I didn't feel it was like obviously as bad as like a leg break. Obviously, it wasn't one of the major leg breaks. It was like my fibula, and it was obviously fractured. But at the time, I was able to kick the ball, and I was still able to kick it. I wasn't sore, and then as soon as I started to run, it was just like too painful. So I think that was obviously the 5 minutes I managed to keep playing on, just because I think we maybe had the ball for the 5 minutes. But say process-wise, it's hard because I've not had an injury like that before. I think I've done my knee. That's really it. But that obviously coming back for that, I think as well. I got told it would be 12 weeks. I'd be fine, and after 12 weeks, I still wasn't able to jump on the leg, and there was like, there's something right here. And I went to see another specialist, who says, "Oh, no, you're double 12 weeks. You should be 24 weeks." So I was trying to get back for 12 weeks, and probably wasn't helping myself one bit. When I came back in that, it's like anything, anybody coming back to fitness and that, it's going to take you a while. And I think, obviously, as you say, the fans always thinking probably maybe for the first maybe a year or something to try and get back to where I was. I think it's because how good we were the year before. Obviously, that top four thing, probably the players you're with, and that probably I thought, as I say, I was going to be the kind of same player, and that, but obviously it takes a while to come back. And as I say, it's being gone now. I look back at it and probably I look at my performances then, probably performances now, they're picking up again.
What about you're over your course, your 200 games here, you've had a whole host of centre half partners. Mm-hmm. Any of them that you'd want to make comment on? I'm thinking Craig Barr, got Voto, Nando, Davo, Mackay, we've got Big Dave in there, of course. Ewan Murray, Toshney.
As I say, there's loads. I think as you said, double figures of playing me certain players. Obviously, I've known David the longest. Obviously, Dundee, Raith Rovers, I think he's 37 in January, so he's still going and he's still putting performances out there every week, which I think is a credit to him. I can't imagine I'll be doing it at 37, so it just shows you how well he's been doing. Other players, also think Tosh, when I was here with him, that season we played, when we came fourth, I think we were centre half until maybe January, February time, until Mango came back, Craig Barr. I think we were playing well. I think Ray called with John Terry and Rio Ferdinand in the paper, I remember. Don't know how he got that, but as I say, Craig Barr, I think he's a really, really good player. I think if it wasn't for his injuries, he'd probably be playing at a lot higher level. It's a shame also what happened to him. I think it was his hips and then his groins. It's disappointing for him, but as I say, I think he's captain at Killing Beef now. Probably we'll see him on Saturday, so you get to see him. And obviously, I think there's different players. Obviously, it's good to obviously Big Nando coming from a different.
You've got a bit of kind of mentor's role, I guess, with Dave and with Nando coming. Obviously, him coming from abroad. Dave comes through the youth setup.
Yeah, as I say, I think Dave's coming leaps and bounds. Obviously, before his injury and that, I think you can see he can play right back. He can play centre half. He's got the attributes to be making a name for himself here. Obviously, he's recovering from his injuries now, but I can tell he's doing well just now. He's in with the boys and that. He's getting back to his old self and that, so he's doing well. And as I said, Nando, as you say, John and Voto, just that difference of playing with somebody from like a different environment in the world. It's, as you say, you didn't get it often, so it's nice to play with all sorts of different players.
And can you speak French with a Dundonian accent?
I used to do it at school, so I've had a couple of conversations with him. Sometimes he doesn't understand the word in English, so sometimes you need to say it in French. So as I say, he's a good big fella.
What about other aspects of your games? I was looking at the stats. You've scored 7 goals for Rovers, 5 of them in your first season. Yeah. So fair to say you've gone off the boil a wee bit, but you saved a goal for a very special occasion, the semi-final. More goals in you, and tell us about that semi-final goal. It was a bit special for us all. Yeah,
as I say, I think that's one of my points in my game I want to improve on. Try and obviously get more goals as I can. I think everybody else is scoring goals now. Obviously got Frankie, I think he's 2 and 3 or something. Big Nando's got a goal. To say so that, as I say, it's not my job. It's no something like I'm going out crying to get a goal. But as I say, it'd be nice to obviously get a few more goals, especially with the first season. Obviously, I scored 5. And the goal against Partifice, obviously, it was a good one to savour. I managed to get into a National Cup final, as I say. Probably a lot of people didn't read it, and because obviously it's not as big as everything else. But for a club like obviously like Rovers, teams that are in Championship, League One, it's a hard thing to do, because a lot of teams that are still going for that trophy, they're playing strong squads and that. And as I say, it was a pleasure to get there with the boys, and as I say, hopefully we can actually play it.
We had a wee bit of a dummy run, given the cup game through the week there, but the plan is that cup final will happen hopefully when fans are allowed in. That'd be a bit of a special way to celebrate fans' return, wouldn't it?
Personally, and with the squad here, also we want to play that final. It means a lot, and especially if fans can get back in. I think I'd probably prefer obviously just to wait if need comes, and then fans can come to see the game. But so we'll see what happens.
You mentioned I'm aware we're kind of tight at times. You've got training as well, so you mentioned the fans there. Tell us about your relationship with the fans. What's it like to be, you're kind of an adopted Fifer here? I'm sure people in Dundee might struggle with that concept, but you clearly feel connected to the area and to the fans.
Yeah, as I've been here, I think it's going to my 6th season. I think I've stayed here for maybe like the last 3 in a way. So I enjoy it here. It's different to being away from home and that, obviously, but I really embrace it being here, and as I say, the fans have been great with me ever since. Every time I see somebody in the street or see after the games that I'm speaking to them, that they're always nice to us as well. So as I say, it makes a big difference, and that also I want to stay and want to try and take this club as far as we can. As I say, I think the group of players we've got, I think we've got every chance to do that. I think we want to play the football the right way, and this season's been different class. Even Tuesday, as I say, it was a 3-3, and there was times in Inverness were better, but there was times we were like, first half especially, I thought were brilliant. So as I say, it's really enjoyable to be here, and I think everybody should obviously buy into what's going on here, because I think it could be a special being here.
Well, it's great to know you've bought into it so much. We'll let you get away and join the boys, and we'll hopefully catch up with you maybe even before your 250th game. We'll keep an eye on it.
Right, cheers Dave.